I'll give you a challenge. Name the greatest inventions in human history. Easy. The wheel, electricity, the printing press, the internet. Good, good. You've got most of them. Wait, most of them. Did I miss something? Just one thing. One invention that quietly changed warfare, science, and history forever. All right, what is it? Gunpowder. Many people don't realize it, but that black powder helped reshape the world more powerfully than many modern inventions. So what exactly is inside this explosive formula, and how does something so simple produce such overwhelming force? This is QC Project. Simple things. Today, let's find the answer together in this segment. Put simply, gunpowder is the result of a series of chemical reactions. Known as black powder, this legendary mix consists of three basic ingredients: charcoal, sulfur, and potassium nitrate, saltpeter. While a campfire takes all night to turn a log into ash slowly, gunpowder is designed to release all its energy at once. It doesn't detonate like high explosives. Instead, it burns so incredibly fast that it creates an immediate, massive pressure wave. In a fraction of a second, a handful of harmless-looking dust transforms into a violent force that can push objects across vast distances. The real secret is that gunpowder carries its own oxygen supply. Most fires need to breathe the surrounding air to keep burning, but because saltpeter is packed with oxygen, gunpowder can burn anywhere, inside a sealed cannon or even in the vacuum of space. When a spark hits the mix, the solid powder instantly transforms into a massive cloud of hot gas. If you trap this gas inside a metal tube with a bullet in front, the gas will expand with such overwhelming force that it hurls the bullet out just to find room. So, when did gunpowder actually first appear? The answer will probably surprise you, because this deadly invention wasn't created by a general or some mad scientist, but by a group of Chinese Taoist alchemists who were simply trying to find a way to live forever. Back in 9th century China, Taoist alchemists spent their days mixing various minerals and herbs, hoping to discover the elixir of life. One day, they decided to combine sulfur, charcoal, and saltpeter over a heat source. Instead of finding eternal youth, they accidentally invented a way to end life much faster. According to ancient texts, the resulting blast was so intense that it burned the alchemists' hands, faces, and even the house they were working in. Imagine the awkward silence in that laboratory when they realized their immortality potion was actually a recipe for a fireball. At first, the Chinese didn't use this fire drug for warfare at all. They used it to create some of the world's first celebrations. Because of its flashiness and noise, gunpowder was initially packed into bamboo tubes to make fireworks meant to scare away evil spirits. It would take several more centuries before someone realized that if you could scare off spirits, you could probably also bring down a city wall. By the 10th and 11th centuries, early fire arrows and primitive grenades began appearing on the battlefield, forever changing the rules of war. This pungent black dust eventually traveled along the Silk Road to the Middle East and Europe, and so, from a single laboratory accident, it ultimately became something capable of redrawing the entire map of the world. Making gunpowder is surprisingly simple, but extremely dangerous. Think of it like baking a cake that could blow up your oven at any moment. The classic formula follows a strict 75-15-10 rule. 75% potassium nitrate, 15% charcoal, and 10% sulfur. First, each ingredient is ground into a fine powder, but if you just toss them into a container and shake, you'll end up with a weak, smoky mix that barely burns. To make real gunpowder, you need to add a small amount of liquid to turn the dust into a paste. This paste is then pressed into solid cakes, dried, and crushed back into small, hard grains. This step is called granulation, and it's the secret that makes gunpowder actually go boom instead of just fizzling out. So why go through the trouble of turning powder into grains? It's all about surface area and speed. Think about it. If you have a solid block of fuel, the fire can only stay on the outside. But when you break it into tiny grains, the fire can rush into the gaps between them, hitting every single piece at almost the same time. This turns a slow burn into an instant explosion. In the old days, making these grains was easily the scariest job ever. One tiny spark from a metal shovel or even a bit of static from your shirt could blow the entire building sky high. Today, we use safe, high-tech machines, but the recipe is still the same mix of minerals and charcoal. It's pretty wild that 1,000-year-old dust is still powerful enough to change the world, isn't it? If you want to understand how we got the modern world, don't look at kings or treaties, look at a pile of black powder. Before gunpowder, if you wanted to conquer your neighbor's kingdom, you had to deal with their castle. And castles were a nightmare. They had thick stone walls, moats, and, of course, knights in expensive armor. Guys who spent their entire lives training to stab you with a stick. For centuries, a well-built castle was basically an unbreakable fortress. But then gunpowder showed up and completely ruined the party for the nobility. Suddenly, a peasant with a week of training and a crude cannon could knock down a wall that took 20 years to build. It was the ultimate disruptive technology, long before Silicon Valley ever existed. This power shift didn't just change battles, it changed how countries were built. Because cannons were incredibly expensive to make and move, only wealthy kings could afford them. This led to the end of small local lords and the birth of massive centralized nations. Think about it. If your local duke couldn't protect you from a cannonball, you'd start looking to a king who could. Warfare became a game of industrial production. You needed more metal, more chemicals, and more money, which forced governments to get organized, collect taxes more efficiently, and fund scientific research. Weirdly, the bureaucracy and tax systems we deal with today are partly because 15th century kings needed to buy more boom for their buck. But gunpowder wasn't just about knocking things down, it was also about opening things up. It completely changed global exploration. Ships armed with cannons could defend themselves across vast oceans, allowing explorers to reach, and unfortunately, often conquer, new lands. On the home front, gunpowder became a vital tool for civil engineering. Before high explosives, if a mountain was in your way, you had to go around it or spend decades chipping away at it with hand tools. Gunpowder allowed us to blast through solid rock to build roads, tunnels, and mines. It literally cleared the path for the Industrial Revolution. We went from being stuck in the dirt to digging deep into the earth for the coal and minerals that power our modern lives. So, when you look at a firework display today, you're looking at a colorful version of a tool that redrew every border on the map. It's a bit funny to think that a failed immortality potion ended up becoming the engine of modern history. It made the world smaller, the countries bigger, and the wars much, much louder. It's a perfect example of how one simple chemical discovery can trigger a chain reaction that changes everything from politics to the very roads we drive on. Storing gunpowder is like keeping an eye on a grumpy volcano. You really don't want to wake it up. Because gunpowder is a self-oxidizing substance. Once it starts burning, you can't just smother it with a blanket or blow it out like a birthday candle. It will keep burning until the reaction runs its course. That's why safety and storage have always been the most nerve-wracking part of the job. In the past, special buildings called magazines, gunpowder storage facilities, were built to keep it safe. These were thick stone or brick bunkers, usually constructed far away from everything else. Why? Because if the worst-case scenario happened, you'd want the explosion as far away from your neighbors as possible. The biggest enemy of gunpowder isn't just fire. It's actually static electricity and moisture. Imagine being a worker in an 18th century powder mill. You'd be forbidden from wearing shoes with iron nails because one tiny spark against the stone floor could end your career and the building in a millisecond. Workers often wore soft leather slippers or went barefoot to keep things spark-free. Moisture is another headache. If gunpowder gets damp, the saltpeter starts to crystallize and separate from the mix, turning your expensive explosive into a pile of useless, soggy mud. To prevent this, old-school sailors kept their powder in copper-lined barrels to keep the humidity out. Copper was the hero here because, unlike iron, it doesn't create sparks when you hit it. Today, we've traded wooden barrels and leather sandals for climate-controlled storage and anti-static technology, but the rules haven't changed. Whether you're a professional pyrotechnician or just someone curious about history, the golden rule is always the same. Keep it cool, keep it dry, and for goodness sake, keep it away from anything that can spark. We even use special spark-proof tools made of bronze or plastic when handling large quantities of gunpowder. It's all about respecting the chemistry. Gunpowder is a very loyal servant when treated properly, but it has absolutely no patience for mistakes. Want to impress your friends on your next museum trip? Here's a quick 10-second rule to tell if you're looking at real black powder. First, check the color. It shouldn't be pitch black like a brand new tire. Real gunpowder usually has a dark gray, slightly dull appearance due to a graphite coating used to prevent static. Second, look at the shape. If it looks like fine flour, that's likely the more dangerous early form of powder. If it looks like small, hard pebbles or grains, you're looking at a more modern and stable version. Finally, there's the smell test, though I wouldn't recommend actually sniffing it. Even unlit, old gunpowder often has a faint sulfur scent with a subtle earthy note. It's like a tiny volcano quietly sleeping inside a jar. And here is the professional's secret. Real black powder is incredibly clean to the touch. If you rub it between your fingers, carefully, it shouldn't leave a greasy smudge like coal dust. If it's high quality, it should feel dry and gritty. Of course, the ultimate test is a spark, but since we'd prefer to keep our eyebrows where they are, let's stick to just looking. In just 10 seconds, you've gone from a curious observer to someone who understands the texture of history. Just remember, knowing how to spot it doesn't mean you should go looking for it in your basement. Some things are better left behind glass cases and in history books. In the end, gunpowder isn't just a recipe for making noise, it's a reminder that the world changes in the most unexpected ways. We started with a group of alchemists searching for immortality and ended up with a substance that built nations, tore down walls, and paved the way for the modern age. It's the perfect example of how something simple can create a massive impact. So next time you see fireworks lighting up the sky, remember the alchemists who lost their eyebrows for your entertainment. Every modern convenience we enjoy often stands on the shoulders of these accidental discoveries. This is QC Project, Simple Things. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the black powder that changed the world, do us a small favor, hit like and subscribe. Your support is what helps us bring more hidden stories like this to light. We've got plenty more simple things with massive secrets waiting for you, so don't miss the next one.